Hey everyone, I'm Steve from GamersNexus.net, and today we're talking about Kingdom. Kingdom is a 2013 Flash game originally developed by Noyo, but expanded upon and brought to PC in cooperation with fellow developer Licorice, and the game is being published by Raw Fury. This is the company's first published title. Kingdom is a two-dimensional, side-scrolling kingdom building and expansion game with inspiration taken from capitalism, of course. And in the game, we take charge as a king or queen of a soon-to-be built kingdom within the two-dimensional randomly generated landscape, which does have bounding boxes effectively on the sides. There's a limit to how large the landscape is. And in the game, our set of actions is fairly minimal. It is definitely a minimalist-inspired game. Your actions include movement left to right, sprinting on your horse, and throwing money around. And that's the key thing, really. The whole game revolves around this concept of using money to compel peasants, archers, what have you, to complete the various somewhat limited tasks in the game. But that minimalist approach doesn't mean a bad thing. It does not take away from the design. In fact, it adds to it, and that's sort of where Kingdom gets its charm. Kingdom sort of reminds us of Majesty in one key aspect, and it's important to note that Majesty and Kingdom are nothing at all alike. But the game Majesty uses indirect input to control NPCs within the game. So this is not a game where you can micromanage your followers, your peasants, your knights. You use indirect input through the form of coins to compel your soon-to-be followers to do different tasks. So you can turn them into builders by giving them hammers, which you buy at a shop with your coin. That hammer is dropped on the ground, someone picks it up, they then go on to build towers, walls, castles, and other things like that, economy-generating buildings like farms. All of these things cost coin, and in the case of the economy buildings, generate coin. So it is very important to build a strong economy early on and then use that money generated to expand your kingdom in the form of walls, knights, and archers to help defend the kingdom against assault. Assault happens every night by sort of Lovecraftian style horrors. They're not really zombies, but they're weird things. They live in the woods, they have masks, and they chase you very quickly. And if they catch you, if you're not within the walls of your kingdom safely, if you don't have your archers and knights defending you, then these creatures will seize your crown, at which point you've either got to retrieve it very quickly or you lose. And this is a permadeath game, so should you lose your crown and fail to retrieve it immediately, then that's it. Game over. You've got to start a new kingdom as a new king or queen from scratch from a new randomly generated map. Kingdom is exceedingly easy to pick up and play because of its minimalistic playstyle, but there is actually a decent level of depth to it, and that feeds from its addictive charm as what was once a Flash game. There's very little in the way of tutorial other than the first couple seconds of the game, and this is all overall a good thing, but at times the minimalism can get a bit frustrating, especially when it comes to the lack of micromanagement, which is a core design choice and does work out to be pretty good in the long run. But as a new player, it is a frustrating design choice because sometimes you're watching your archers walk around on the wrong side of the village, contributing nothing to their dying hordes of friends who are being mowed down by Hellspawn on the opposite side of the village. And there's also no way to cancel orders. So should you decide that building an extra wall where you chose to build one is no longer a good choice because night is falling, there's no way to stop that from happening. This does feed into the game's strategy a little bit, and that's why we think that the game is making good on its choice of minimalism, but you have to get past that initial barrier of frustration to fully enjoy it. The game is $10, so it's a true indie title at true indie price, and everything you see in the trailer, everything you see in this gameplay footage over the voiceover is basically all you get. There's not much more to it. You wander side to side, you build stuff, you try to survive as long as possible, and eventually you probably die and then start over. Now, there is technically a win condition in the game. Patrick, who wrote the review, put in about 30 hours of gameplay and never got to that win condition. So either he's terrible at it, which he actually seems to be pretty good, or it's actually kind of hard to get to. So there's a win condition. You're mostly going to be dying permadeath style and then just repeating until you get a good process going and you can develop a strategy for progressing in the game. That is Kingdom. Overall, we like the game. We found that it was worth the $10 in price, and you can read the full review linked in the description below, where Patrick Lathan talks in great depth about how the game plays through its gameplay mechanics and what type of player should be buying the game. There are a few small caveats, and they are mostly rooted in the core design of the game, which means that either you get used to them and grow to like them, or you will never get used to them and you can't stand it. And those caveats, as discussed, are primarily to do with the lack of micromanagement. So it's either good or really annoying, and that is up to you to decide. It is worth looking into for sure, though, if you want a quick pick up and play game that has some level of depth to it and will give you more than your $10 worth in terms of hours. That's all for our Kingdom review. Check the link in the description below for more information. And of course, as always, if you like this content, please check our Patreon page. Help us out there. We're hugely grateful to those of you who have already. And I will see you all next time.